discuss this further. Catherine, you've had a lot of criticism. Do you regret those comments, and are you willing to apologise?
Well, no, I'm not going to apologise, because I spent 20 minutes with the committee explaining to them how I felt we could support girls across the country in choosing STEM subjects. And I gave them advice that we have used ourselves at our school, which is why I then explained that at biology and chemistry A-levels, we have 65% girls taking those A-levels. I then explained that the physics, that's not the case. I explained, what I ought to have said was, and reminded everybody that in 2019, our Progress 8 score put our maths department as best in the country, our science department as third in the country, for best, I mean. Our head of physics is a woman. All of our children take double and triple science all the way to GCSE. And so we have done, I did talk about bringing in external people, and that government needed to help schools more with this, to talk about their careers, and that you would want to do this in such a way to help your more vulnerable groups. So,
yeah, but the comments specifically,
and women.
The comments that have been picked up on are the fact that you said that it was a natural thing that girls didn't want to do physics, and it was because you thought there was hard maths and they didn't want to do it.
Well, and I was talking specifically about my school. When you have controlled for those issues that are cultural, because of course there are cultural and environmental reasons why girls don't do STEM subjects. And that's what I spent 20 minutes talking about with the committee. They then asked me specifically about my school, and we have controlled for those things here at the school, which is why we are so successful with our maths and with our sciences. And then I was saying, but look, our girls haven't chosen physics. And they said, well, why? And I said, well, it is the fact that evidence shows that on average, girls are more empathetic and boys are more systematic. Now, that's just on average. There are brilliant scientists out there, women scientists. There are brilliant women physicists and brilliant women mathematicians. Some of them are here in my school, like my head of physics, teaching our girls and our boys. Both girls and boys sometimes avoid physics because they think I want to avoid the hard maths. Not just the girls, but they were asking me specifically about our girls in that moment. So that's what I was explaining.
You said in your evidence that you thought the girls were avoiding the hard maths, and you said it was like a natural thing. And when asked about the evidence, you said you were talking about nationwide evidence. I don't think you were talking about your own evidence, were you? And you didn't seem very sure of that. I mean, you're being criticised by, the Institute for Physics and the Imperial College here in London. They've all put out, critical comments saying these are outdated and damaging stereotypes that close the doors on many talented girls and women.
Well, that's precisely what's not happening at our school. I spent 20 minutes giving evidence about what other schools need to do to get the kinds of results that we get in maths and sciences for girls. I spent a very long time explaining the details around this and the importance of role models and so on.
Even now, you're just saying, though, that you think girls are more empathetic and boys are more systematic, I think you said. I don't know if there is any evidence for that. But in any case,
there is lots of evidence for that.
In any case, you can be empathetic and still be really interested in tough, challenging maths and physics. And it's surely about schools and head teachers and governments and people in your sorts of jobs to be encouraging girls and saying, you must do this, it's fantastic.
That's exactly what I spent 20 minutes doing, breaking down the ways in which we can encourage our girls and the ways we've done it here. And that's why we're so successful as a school with regard to that.
But not in terms of getting girls to do physics and maths at A-level.
Just because you've got discrepancy does not mean that you have discrimination. Now, it is true that cultural and environmental factors matter. That's what I spent 20 minutes talking about. But it isn't just that. There is also what people enjoy. And to suggest that my girls have not, some of the girls who haven't chosen physics haven't done so because they genuinely want to do it, but somehow they're being forced not to, that's not true. My girls, in an environment where we have controlled for those environmental factors, have chosen not to do physics.
How can you control for those environmental factors? I mean, you're not the only influence on children, are you?
Not me specifically, but that's my point. We've brought in lots of role models. We have lots of women here who are teaching those subjects. We are encouraging the children to do any number of different things. And I'm not just talking about girls, ethnic minorities, children from poorer backgrounds. We do a great job at this. Not only that, but there are bigger things at work here, like teaching methods, your discipline in the school, how well children are supported in achieving what they want to achieve. I think it's wrong to seek exact representation of groups. I think it's right to create an environment where we encourage all children to fulfill their potential. And just because...
But don't your comments exactly go against that? Because, you know, we're hearing from eminent scientists, scientific, you know, universities, etc., all saying that they want more girls to study these subjects, and they think your comments are outdated and stereotypical.
Well, we've got 65% of our biology and chemistry, and that's girls. So the fact is that we've got tons of girls doing science here. They're all doing triple and double science up to GCSE.
Well, we're talking about physics, aren't we, here?
Yes. And then I said, and so I think there's something else at play there. And it isn't just the environment. I'm saying I spent 20 minutes talking about the environment.
So what do you think it is at play?
Well, I think our girls don't want to do, those girls don't want to do physics. And I think that's okay.
But why do you think that is?
Well, I said it's, you know, there are a variety of different reasons. One possible reason is that they don't want to do the hard maths, just like the boys who haven't chosen the physics don't want to do the hard maths. But the
point is that fewer girls. The question is why girls are doing physics less than the boys. And what you're saying is,
and what I'm saying,
in the select committee, you said that girls don't like to do the tough maths, and you think that's natural.
I'm saying those specific girls don't too. And I think the fact is, the evidence does show girls are more empathetic and boys are more sympathetic, systematic.
What has that got to do with whether you do maths or not?
What's that?
What's that got to do with whether you want to do challenging maths?
Well, it does. When that's, you know, there's lots of analysis on this about the number of women in the end who end up going into engineering or end up doing any variety of different STEM type professions. All of this has impact. And the environment has huge impact, which is why I spent 20 minutes talking about that. But to suggest that any discrepancy is always, because what you're saying is that whenever you have a discrepancy in terms of representation for across groups nationally, whenever you have any kind of discrepancy, you're saying that there must be some kind of discrimination involved. And I'm saying that isn't the case. I agree that culture matters. In fact, we wrote a book here at school called The Power of Culture. I am all about...
But can I just ask, it's not necessarily about, you know, your school discriminating and stopping girls. It's about girls being encouraged and being made to believe that they can do these subjects.
It's about
culture. You've got Imperial College and the Institute of Physics both saying that you're wrong. Are you not going to back down or listen to them or in any way apologise for comments that they believe in your role in public life could be very damaging?
They are taking quotes out of context. They're not watching the 20 minutes where I spoke and explained how we can get girls to take sciences and maths. They're not looking at the success of my school in doing so. They're taking one tiny clip that has been cut in a very specific way in order to make it look like I'm saying something that I'm not saying. And what I am saying is what our school has done. And I said for 20 minutes, it was a long time, talking about how to get girls to choose maths and science, which we have done here. And we've done a great job at it. And I was giving advice on how to increase that. Now, if you want to just cherry pick a quote and put it out there, then yeah, that's a problem. But the media shouldn't do that, right? The media ought to be looking at, my entire career is about opening up access for children from disadvantaged backgrounds, for vulnerable groups. And my entire career has proved, as I said, top maths department, third top science department. My entire career has demonstrated what we are about here. And I spent 20 minutes giving advice on how to achieve that elsewhere.
Okay, Catherine Bibbs-Singh of Michaela Community School, thank you very much. 28